Om Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitang Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Tonight we have some questions, and we'll continue with our exploration of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the unabridged version of Nectar of Devotion. We've been discussing Krishna as Sarvasiddhi Nishevata, how he's served by all mystic powers. And then we briefly touched upon the last time his quality number 56 of having inconceivable great energies. You see, how can you understand the Supreme Absolute Truth without understanding the potencies? The sun gives off so much heat and light. This example is given in Shastra. The heat and light are not the sun, but then again they are. Without the sun, the heat and light have no existence. But if you have heat or light in your room, you don't have the sun planet in your room. So this is a common example given for simultaneous oneness and difference. Shakti, Shakti Matur Abed. Krishna is Shaktiman, the possessor of energies. Those energies are not different from him, but then again, they are different in that Krishna is the wielder of these potencies. Another example I like to give is about the cow and its milk. The milk is the energy of the cow. So in that sense, you could say the milk is the cow is the milk. Because without the cow, the milk has no existence. At the same time, if you milk the cow and boil the milk, you're not boiling the cow. So therefore, oneness and difference. You'd be surprised how difficult it is for some people to understand that the Supreme Absolute Truth has potencies. Even a tiny creature has potencies, although, of course, Krishna is the ultimate source of all potencies. Still, an ant can find out where a little crumb of sugar is and call the other ants, and they haul it back to their ant hole. That's mystic potency. Bats can fly by sound. Fish can breathe underwater. These are all yoga potencies. Yoga also means a particular ability to manipulate and achieve a result. And of course, Krishna is Yogeshvara, the master of all yoga potencies. So as I often explain, wherever you look in nature, you'll see some yoga power. Worms tunneling through the earth, eating the earth as they tunnel through it and passing it out the other end. Of course, birds flying, vultures detecting a dead or creature about to die, a dead body or a creature about to die from so high up in the air they can detect that. These are all yoga powers. So why can't Krishna have powers? Why do we consider that mythological or so incomprehensible? Ordinary human beings have various powers and potencies, which they become very impressed by their own tiny, puny strengths. Why can't Krishna have inconceivable and unlimited potencies? So Rupa Goswami explains having inconceivable powers includes being the divine creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the universe. It also includes the ability to bewilder Brahma, Shiva, and others. The ability to destroy the prarabdha karma of the devotee and other powers. So let's talk about this. In order to get some kind of view of how inconceivable are Krishna's powers, you need some basis of comparison. So therefore the names are given. Brahma, Shiva, they become bewildered by Krishna's display of his potencies. And we probably pointed out the last time very briefly when Rupa Goswami says the ability to bewilder Brahma, Shiva, and others. Others refers to Sankarshan, Lord Balaram. Shiva is more powerful than Brahma, and Lord Balaram is more powerful than Lord Shiva. So we briefly spoke about Balaram giving himself as an example in chapter 13 of the 10th canto, the Brahma Vimohana Leela. He's testifying that what has happened in Vrindavan? What's going on? He was bewildered, so he was thinking, what or who can bewilder me? Balaram. Let's hear about that. Kimetad adbhutam eva vasudeve kalatmani vrajasya satmanas tokesh papurvam prema vardate. What is this wonderful phenomenon? The affection of all the inhabitants of Braj, including me, toward these boys and calves is increasing as never before, just like our affection for Lord Krishna, the super soul of all living entities. We just can't get over describing this scene. It's a stunner. A scene that even Lord Balaram became bewildered by. Remember, Krishna didn't want Balaram to realize that for 1 year, the original cowherd boys and calves were missing. He didn't want Balaram to feel separation. He didn't want Balaram to feel any inconvenience. But just a few days shy of 1 year later, Krishna felt it's time to reveal this to Balaram. And as we explained before, and it's certainly worth repeating, no one in Vrindavan caught on to the fact that mothers and fathers were loving their son just like they loved Krishna, and that cows were loving their calf just like the calf was Krishna. So Balaram was surprised to see all this. That's the first phase. Remember the various phases of Balaram coming out from bewilderment. The first phase of Yoga Maya lifting. So he's inquiring from Krishna, what is happening here? What is this mystery? Why are all these persons having the same love for a particular son and calf, just like they had for Krishna? And then Balaram's wondering about himself. How can I be feeling an increase in prema, just like I feel towards Krishna when I look at these boys and when I look at the calves? I feel attracted just like I am to Krishna. Now, what's going on? So remember the questions that Balaram asked himself as he tried to piece his way through the situation. He was trying with investigative methods. So he asked, Kiyamba kuta ayata daiviva nayukta suri. Prior mayastu me bhartur nanya mepi vimohini. Vimohini is different from just mohini. Mohini refers to someone who can bewilder. Vimohini intensifies that term and means one who can bewilder others for a long time. That's what's going on here. So Balaram asks, who is this mystic power? Where does she come from? Is she a demigod or a demoness? She must be the illusory energy of my master, Lord Krishna. For who else can bewilder me? So when the first curtain lifts, he realizes there has been some phenomenal, unprecedented attraction going on in Vrindavan. Everyone's loving their son, their calf, just like they love Krishna. Finally, after 1 year, he clicks on that. Then we're at phase 2 now. I just love describing this, especially on Lord Balaram's appearance day. Balaram is thinking, okay, there's an energy that's causing this extraordinary show of affection. So then he's going to go through a checklist. How can all this be going on? Could it be some demigods who are eager for a role in Braj Leela, or who just want to test their powers? Could it be some rishis or sages who also want to test their powers by assuming roles as cowherd boys and calves? Maybe it's some kind of witch, some kind of Rakshasi, some kind of evil follower of King Kamsa. Why would they want to do such a thing? It could be that they want to do like a Trojan horse, infiltrate into Vrindavan and get us to be attracted to them like we are attracted to Krishna. And then they finish us off. But Balaram discarded that possibility. He said, no Rakshasi, no witch can bewilder me. Therefore, this bewilderment must be caused by Krishna. and even I, Balaram, could not check it. So this is curtain number 3 lifting. Number 2 is he realizes there's some kind of energy at work here. Number 3 is it's Krishna's Yoga Maya. It's a very important question. It's Maya, but what kind of Maya? Where did this Maya come from? Is it some kind of power coming from the demigods, like Brahma? It's a very important question. He concluded, this is probably the Maya of my master, Krishna, which has control even over me, Balaram. And no, it wasn't some kind of power from the Devatas, the demigods, or the sages, the rishis. You see, Balaram had been thinking they may have wanted to test out their immense powers, or they were greedy for a role in Krishna Leela. And so they made the calves and cow herd boys disappear and took their place. As we said, Balaram discarded that. No, demigods and rishis are well behaved. They wouldn't do such a thing. The conclusion? Prema, especially this surge of prema, can only be caused by Krishna's form and nothing else. This has to be the Maya of my brother. No one else can bewilder me. No one can cheat me. It has to be the spiritual potency of my brother. Otherwise, Sanatana Goswami points out, Balaram is thinking, if it's ordinary Maya and I'm bewildered, I'd be ashamed. Of course, we know that's not true. It's not ordinary Maya. And then curtain number 4 goes up. Lord Balaram was able to see with the eye of transcendental knowledge that all these calves and Krishna's friends were expansions of the form of Sri Krishna. By Krishna's will, the 4th curtain had gone up, and Balaram was able to see the form of Krishna in each of the boys and calves. For confirmation, he decided to talk to his younger brother. Balaram is known as Krishnagraja, the older brother of Krishna. So now he's going to ask, Naite Suresha Rishayo Nachaite Tram Eva Bhashisha Bidashreye P. Sarvam Prataktung Nigamat Katam Vadeti Yuktena Vrittung Prabhuna Balovite. Lord Balaram said, O Supreme Controller, these boys are not great demigods, as I previously thought, nor are these calves great sages like Narada. Now I can see that you alone are manifesting yourself in all varieties of difference. Although one, you are existing in the different forms of the calves and boys. Please briefly explain this to me. Having thus been requested by Lord Baladev, Krishna explained the whole situation, and Baladev understood it. Krishna explained how he was concealing what Brahma had did. And he didn't want people to know that the original calves and cowherd boys were missing. So Balaram clearly understands now this whole scene is not some kind of ordinary Maya. Krishna is showing his special opulence. This personalism, of course, on display in such a beautiful way. Remember, Krishna was worried that, oh, Balaram is so merciful and soft, he won't be able to tolerate knowing the condition of the original boys put to sleep by Brahma's mystic potency. And Balaram, being very personal, wanted Krishna to briefly explain. He didn't want his brother to become exhausted by a long explanation. Of course, how can Krishna become exhausted? There's no material fatigue. Krishna has no material body. But in Krishna Lila, you see such personalism. So that's a beautiful example of how Krishna has inconceivable potencies. And Balaram himself testifies to that. He says, even I could not comprehend what was going on. When you talk about Krishna taking a divine role in creating, maintaining, and destroying the universe, implicit is that he even becomes the Antaryami, the super soul within the universe, while always being transcendental, untouched by the material energy. One interesting point I hope you clicked on in this list of this very partial list of Krishna's having inconceivable great energies. Remember, divine creator, maintainer, destroyer of the universe, the ability to bewilder Brahma, Shiva, and others, i.e., Balaram, and also the ability to destroy the prarabdha karma of the devotee. And then Rupa Goswami says, and also he has other powers. So let's talk about this ability to destroy the karma meant to manifest for a devotee. You may recall from our discussion of Bharat Maharaj how Shukadeva Goswami gives some possible reasons why Bharat Maharaj became overwhelmed by attachment to a little deer after Bharat Maharaj had so gloriously, wonderfully left his huge opulence, beautiful family life, and was living the life of a forest ascetic in yoga meditation upon the Supreme Personality Godhead. So why? What hit him? So much so that he had to take another birth as a deer due to his attachment to that deer. And then The next birth after that, he was Jad Bharat and Avaduta. So Sukadeva Goswami points out that it could be said that he got hit by a ton of bricks, meaning he got hit by prarabdha karma, manifest karma from previous births. The karmic reactions to actions he had done in this lifetime and previous lifetimes. But the acharyas point out, wait a minute. Lord Brahma testifies, Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindam adi purusham tamaham jami. Govinda, Krishna, minimizes all the karmic reactions of those who take shelter of him. And everyone knows Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Prityaja Mamekam Sharanam Bhaja. Dam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishami Mashucha. Mashucha, don't worry, Krishna says, I will take care of all your karmic reactions. So then how could it be said that such an exalted devotee as Bharat Maharaj was felled by karmic reactions? And in this verse today, we're hearing that one of Krishna's inconceivable powers is that he destroys his devotees' manifest karma. What's about to hit them. The other reason we discussed last time, and we're going more into it tonight, is that for his very advanced devotees on the platform of rati or bhava, Krishna may give a semblance of prarabdha karma, manifest karmic reactions, to bring them closer to him. And he did that in the case of Bharat Maharaj because Bharat Maharaj voluntarily kind of threw his spiritual practices aside and plunged into attachment for the deer. So then, all right, you're so attached to this deer. The moment of death comes and you're still thinking of this deer. Next life, take birth as a deer. But that was just for a short time. And as you know, Bharat Maharaj in his life as a deer remembered everything. So it was all Krishna bringing Bharat Maharaj closer to him. The whole scene wasn't an ordinary karmic affair. And then we went deeper, remember? And pointed out from Brihad Bhagavatamrita that the whole affair was just meant to demonstrate to us what it's like to foolishly fall into Maya. In the same way that Yudhishthira Maharaj demonstrated the problems brought about by gambling. Fascinating. So it's very interesting to hear how one of Krishna's inconceivable powers is that he can destroy karmic reactions. Just like he can bewilder even Balaram, what to speak of Brahma and Shiva, and he can arrange for the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of countless universes. An intelligent person is concerned. What about my karmic reactions, the things I've done that I can't even remember? That's why Krishna's offer is so important in Bhagavad Gita. Don't worry, I will take care of your karmic reactions. Whatever we get is just a tiny fraction of what we deserve to get. Krishna gives us a little bit. It looks like our karma, but it's such a reduced version. It's a personal blend that Krishna gives to his devotees. Severely reduced, markedly diminished. Just enough so that we don't think it's worthwhile to enjoy the material world. We get some discomfort, some this, some that, some setbacks. And that helps us to realize I don't belong in material existence. I don't belong in a material body. What example is given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu about the destruction of karma? We go to the 10th canto, chapter 45, text 45. Krishna and Balaram are offering service to their teacher, Sandipani Muni. They want to please the Guru. And that way, Krishna and Balaram are demonstrating how to be ideal disciples. What can we do for you? You have equipped us with all this knowledge. How can we seek to pay back our debt? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Guru Putram Ahanitam Nija Karma Nibandhanam Anayasva Maharaja Machchasana Puraskrita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, suffering the bondage of his past activity, my spiritual master's son was brought here to you, to Yamaraj's kingdom. So he's saying to Yamaraj, O great king, obey my command and bring this boy to me without delay. You see, Sandipani Muni, when asked, what can we do for you? Said, I lost a son to the ocean. Can you please reclaim him? Krishna went to the ocean where a demon was supposed to have swallowed up Sandipani Muni's son. When Krishna terminated the demon and looked inside the demon's belly, there was no son. Krishna realized the boy has gone to the kingdom of Yamaraj, the Lord of Death. And there he's experiencing karmic reactions. So he went there and ordered Yamaraj, O great king, obey my command and bring this boy to me without delay. In other words, you're right in having him here, in that in most cases, a person must endure the effects of his past deeds. But we have an exception here. I am asking you, release the boy. Bring the son of my guru to me. So Yamaraj brought the boy back with the same body that he had when Yamaraj took him. That means when he died. Ordinarily, the boy must suffer his karma. But Krishna impressed upon Yamaraj, it's my order. Yes, that he should endure his karma, but it's also my order that my guru's son should be brought here. So in other words, Krishna's pointing out, I give the order for the whole system of action and reaction. Ultimately, that's coming from me. All right, you can say that's my order. Therefore, you took this boy so that he would experience his karmic reactions. But it's also my order that this boy, my guru's son, should be brought to me. The latter order is more important. Just like Prabhupada always explains about Bhagavad Gita, sometimes people unnecessarily become confused. Oh, in chapter 2, Krishna says this, and in chapter 4, Krishna says that, in chapter 8, Krishna says that. Why are you stressing chapter 18 when Krishna says, where Krishna says, surrender to me? Why are you making that the ultimate? Of course, there's consistency throughout Bhagavad Gita, but sometimes people unnecessarily become confused because they're not reading Bhagavad Gita in the association of devotees. And so they say, well, so many instructions. So Srila Prabhupada always explained, even if you think that there's some confusion, which there isn't, you take the last thing as final. And Krishna in the 18th chapter certainly underlines that last thing as the grand conclusion. So here Krishna is telling Yamaraj, yes, it's my order that this whole system of karmic reaction happens, but it's also my order that you release this boy and bring him to me. And this is my latter order. You're not at fault for bringing him to hell, since the boy had karmas to go through. But you, Yamaraj, are Dharmaraj. You're the king of Dharma. You can surpass the whole system of karma by bringing this boy to me. That will be your devotion to me. Sanatana Goswami says, well, Yamaraj could protest. The rules will be broken. But Krishna's response is, just follow my orders. Since you are my devotee, you must follow my order given directly to you at this time. We're dealing with a devotee here. It's always more important to follow my order concerning my devotees than it is to follow the normal karmic rules. So Yamaraj said, Tata, so be it. And he brought forth Sandipani Muni's son. Now, just by Krishna's visiting the realm of Yamaraj, all the suffering and punishment was reduced. There were so many horrific reactions happening, as described in the 5th canto of Bhagavatam. But just by Krishna personally going there to retrieve the son of Sandipani Muni, all that karmic retribution stopped. Krishna had made that boy the recipient of Kripa Siddha, perfection, by having the mercy poured upon him, even though he had not done sadhana, bhakti sadhana. These are the inconceivable energies of Krishna. Technical point. Yamaraj created a youthful body for the son of Sandipani Muni, exactly physically resembling what he had before death. Even the demigods were astonished seeing this. It all happened because of the power of Krishna. So Balaram and Krishna brought the son of Sandipani Muni back to him. Avantipur is where the Sandipani Muni's school was. And what was Sandipani Muni's response? Shri Guru Vacha Samyak Sampadito Vatsa Bhavadbhyam Guru Nishkraya Konu Yashmad Vida Guru Kamanam Avashishyate. The spiritual master said, "My dear boys, you two have completely fulfilled the disciple's obligation to reward his spiritual master. Indeed, with disciples like you, what further desires could a guru have?" You see, Krishna and Balaram, upon returning, said, "All right, you asked for one thing, we did that. Can you ask for another? Please ask for number two." But Sandipani Muni said, "What desires can remain for a guru with disciples like you two? I have no remaining desires." Which brings us to some questions. The topic of desires and whether we should have them or whether we shouldn't. Sandipani Muni saying, I'm totally satisfied. What more could I ask? Just by having disciples like you two, that's enough. So this is a question from Shruti Chari Devi Dasi. Can you explain, please, whether pure devotional service means that you have absolutely no material desires, or that simply you are not doing the service with the motivation of achieving those desires? For example, if one goes to the temple, makes a big donation, chants some mantras, and so forth, with the express purpose of gaining a spouse, it is, of course, not pure devotional service. On the other hand, one may go and distribute books or do some other kind of devotional service simply to please the spiritual master, but at the same time, the person has a desire to marry in the background. Is the devotional service considered pure? Interesting question. So, yes, as she recognizes, making Krishna our order supplier is not pure devotional service. The proper attitude is, my dear Lord, if you so desire. Even when it comes to issues of health, danger, and so forth. A devotee does not prevail upon Krishna. Lord, do it for me. Come through for me. Reminds you of in like the evangelical Christian churches, so-called gospel churches. They'll sing out, the Lord is my lawyer in the courtroom. He's my doctor in the sick room. He's my friend. And they're always citing as proof of God's goodness that he did this for me. He did that for me. He gave me this. He gave me that. Food on my table. I know my God is able. Well, that's nice to appreciate the Supreme Personality of Godhead for all that he's providing, but those provisions are not his real benediction. The real benediction is ecstatic love, unconditional love. This is the salary that we all want. So it is correct. A devotee who wants to be a pure devotee does not push on Krishna. Do this for me. Lord, do it. Do it right now. I'm doing this service for you. Now, where's the obedient spouse who carries out my every dream? Where's the money? Where's this? Where's that? Where's my health? Why do I get sick? Why do I have to die? The second part of her question is more subtle. She says one may do devotional service simply to please the spiritual master, while at the same time, in the back of one's mind, one may have a desire for this, a desire for that, whether marriage or whatever. Is that service considered pure devotional service? It's wonderful when a devotee simply wants to please Krishna and Krishna's devotee. Just see how pleased Sandipani Muni was with Krishna and Balaram. You can't criticize devotees for having a desire to marry unless from the pure devotional standpoint you're making an evaluation. What's the purpose of the desire? Is it for one's own gratification? Or to what degree is that desire for serving Krishna's senses? A devotee may be thinking in terms of marriage. To me, it seems that if I would situate myself in that ashram, I could be doing better service. And my hope would be to use that ashram situation for Krishna's pleasure. And the Grihastha ashram is an authorized ashram for developing in spiritual life. All the ashrams are meant for that purpose. So this is subtle. The way you can make a clear distinction is by not having a demanding attitude. Okay, Krishna, where's the spouse? You know I need what I think I need. Because, this is the material world, and devotees have different appetites for serving Krishna. And suppose Krishna decides, like in the case of Maharaj Anga, to give you a troublesome spouse and a troublesome child. So you'll be blown away. You'll be devastated if you had it in your mind, give me, give me, give me something I can enjoy. So the proper attitude is, my dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, if you think it's best for me, let me enter into such and such a situation for your service. That is the best way. And it takes a while for us to learn that. It's like, it's an art, it's a science, it's a culture. Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion. My dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire. So you're acknowledging your own request, but you're placing that request at Krishna's lotus feet for his disposal. And the example given is Srila Prabhupada, the classic example. The prayer he taught us. We were all begging him, please don't leave this world, please stay. And we wanted to all beg Krishna, please let him stay. But Prabhupada taught us, my dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, please cure Srila Prabhupada. That was the prayer he taught us. So yes, desire management is very crucial in bhakti. And devotees naturally might desire this, desire that, but they don't demand from Krishna, and they always place the situation at Krishna's disposal. I think this would be good. I'd like to do this, but as the Christians say, not my will, but thy will be done. Yes, we have to become accustomed to Krishna knowing what is best for us and blissfully accepting that, because we're meant to develop in our pure love for Krishna. That is the real career. But we're attached to getting our way, being the controller, being the enjoyer. What's that mantra given in Bhagavad Gita? Ishvaro aham bhogi, siddhoham balavan sukhi. I am the controller. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. We think this should be the material result of bhakti, but actually it's just a shadow of bhakti. It's not the real substance of bhakti. So it's wonderful that devotees even start to think about how to act for Krishna's pleasure. What are my motivations? I'm trying to do this service to please whom? It's wonderful when devotees start thinking like that. A journey begins with but a single step. By starting to think like that, you're entering into the ocean of loving devotion. How can I desire in a way that corresponds to Krishna's desires? How can I harmonize with Krishna? That's the beginning of real love. All right. We have another question all the way from the Netherlands, from Diska, who spent time at the Bhakti Lounge in Wellington and lives in the Netherlands. She returned there, and regularly when I go to Cardiff, Wales, she comes to visit. So I'm very happy to hear that. She says, I was just listening to your Wednesday night class and was thinking about what you said about welfare activities. She uses the term general welfare activities. What are general activities? It sounds a bit degrading to me. In other words, making such activities substandard. How to distinguish these general activities from higher, possibly more effective welfare activities. Background context she gives is that she says, I'm currently putting a bit of time aside to volunteer at a blood bank and was wondering whether you'd see that as a general welfare activity. Should people simply give up these activities, or is there a way to combine them with spiritual practice? We explained Wednesday. We went over this quite thoroughly in dealing with Bharat Maharaj, because Madhava Mohini's question was, what was wrong with Bharat Maharaj taking care of the deer, rescuing the deer? The problem was that he became so absorbed in that he pushed aside his spiritual practices. And he forgot that he can't elevate a deer spiritually. So why should he become totally absorbed in the little deer's bodily comfort? Since Bharat Maharaj couldn't do anything for the deer's spiritual comfort. It's a rare devotee who can convert even the animals. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did that in the Jharikanda forest during his journey to Vrindavan. The elephants, the tigers, all the creatures were chanting Hare Krishna in ecstasy. Our goal is that if we can just reach the human beings, that would be a great accomplishment. General welfare activities. Better put, material welfare activities. Because the bhakti welfare activities are also welfare activities. They're just spiritual, which we are. We're not the body. We're not the mind. Still, because the body and mind are equipment given to us by Krishna, they're his energy. We strive to use all of Krishna's energy in service to Krishna. So everything has to be kept in perspective. Bhakti is for a cool head. It's for sharp intelligence. We're not fanatical. We shouldn't get lost in being material do-gooders so that our spiritual life never ignites or becomes it becomes extinguished. How do you distinguish the two, she asks? The higher and the lower? Know what you really are. You're the spirit soul. The real welfare activity is to revive your awareness of your spiritual identity. Because you're not the body. But still, if someone helps us to take care of the body, we're grateful. But as I always point out, we know that they haven't helped us with our real problem in life. So you see, there's a balance. Very crucial. So she points out that she's volunteering at a blood bank, go ahead. But know that your most important work is becoming spiritually qualified and helping others to become spiritually qualified. In the case of Bart Maharaj, we pointed out how could he help anyone if he hadn't properly helped himself first? Without helping himself, taking care of his spiritual life, he becomes an unauthorized, he becomes an inauthentic helper. So, as I often point out, if someone really wants to love, if someone really wants to care, then become qualified. Understand how to care for the whole package, of which the most important part of the package is the spiritual self with its spiritual needs. It's amazing how many times this question comes up because people have a hard time grasping what we really are and what we really need. Just like Arjuna got bewildered in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So Bart Maharaj is teaching us by his example. So finally, she asks, should people simply give up these activities, or is there a way to combine them with spiritual practice? Please, Disika, you chant Hare Krishna. You know what the sadhana is. You spend so much time in Wellington. And the more you do that, the more everything will become clear how to proceed. But naturally, without the clarity that the full bhakti process brings, it's hard to tell the difference between what is spiritual, what is material, what is of primary importance, crucial importance, and what is supplementary or external. Just like Arjuna demonstrated a tough time in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, but then he took instruction from Krishna. Shishteham sharimam tvam prapanyam. Now I'm your disciple. I'm a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. I'm bewildered. I don't know what my duty is. Garpanya dosha. I'm depending on you to clear up this confusion. That kind of attitude is necessary for us all. And when Arjuna said like that, that's when Bhagavad Gita roared into action. The turning point. Friendly talks are over. You instruct me how to distinguish between material affairs and spiritual affairs. Second question she asks. This is an interesting one. Could you elaborate on mentioning how relationships should be after the pink cloud period? She's not sure whether that translates into English, but she says, I know you know what I mean. She's talking about in romantic affairs after the pink cloud passes, which it must. She's asking, can you elaborate on that? Well, she concludes by saying, you said that the relationship often ends up like two persons running an NGO, non-governmental organization for philanthropic purposes, not for profit organization, households can become like that. Well, Diska, you have to understand that the material body, the material mind are ruled by time, and time spoils the freshness of everything. Best to build relationships on the spiritual platform. Otherwise, it's a fact. The thrill fades. The physiological, the psychological buzzes lose their freshness and become the same old, same old. That's the way existence is in the material world. But if Krishna's service is in the center, then there can be some other kind of experience. So that's why in Bhakti Yoga, we stress partners in enlightenment, specifically partners in devotional service. And then the super soul in the heart makes everything ever fresh. So we wish that for you, Diska. Final question, she says. You said vigilance is the price for liberty. How to be vigilant in your actions, desires, and motives. That requires purification, lifestyle transformation, guidance. The whole process of bhakti is about that. How to be vigilant. Vigilant not only to remain free from illusion, but also vigilance for being attentive to Krishna's desires and Krishna's needs. Vigilance shows that you care. It shows you take the relationship seriously. You don't want to be distracted, misled. And vigilance, as the price you pay for real liberty, means that you know the material world is an alluring, bewildering place. And you have to be on guard. Constantly reminding ourselves this body, this world are not meant for our enjoyment. And there's so many false allurements presented by the illusory energy to cheat us. So we need to keep our intelligence sharp by reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, keeping our hearts focused by always thinking how we can please Krishna's desires, how we can fulfill Krishna's desires. All right. I thank you very much for your kind attention. Hare Krishna.